K.
That test was so easy.
Oh, yeah.
I think I got pushed.
Yeah. Smoke that test.
So I was grading the exams over the weekend, and let's just skip straight to the second question on the exam. It was regarding the Navier-Stokes equations, and only 7 of you got this question correct. We've been over the equations, we've talked about the pressure term, and almost all of you forgot to cross out the pressure term. And I mean, if you were working for my company, I would fire you. Or at least demote you. But don't feel bad.
Okay, so from the mid-course evaluation, some of the students told me that I should be writing from left to right. So we're going to try that out today. Now, let's say we have a CSTR. And in the CSTR we have 2 reactions. Reaction 1, which is dependent on the concentration of C and the concentration of A, and reaction 2, which is dependent on the concentration of E and the concentration of Z. Now, let's just say that these reactions are equilibrium. That means the rates are equal to 0. When the rates are equal to 0, the ratio of the K values is the concentration of Z over alpha, gamma, the concentration of A. Now, if we could see what the reaction rates are at equilibrium, we can get an equilibrium constant. This equilibrium constant means that the reaction rates are equal to 0. What if this were PFR though? If this were PFR, then we would have a completely different design equation. Which would then not be equal to the CSTR design equation. Now, can't you see how it all flows together?
Okay everybody, welcome to thermodynamics. Last year the students really struggled with thermodynamics. So this year we're going to make it a lot easier, and we're going to have 6 exams instead of 2 exams. But don't worry, they're all multiple choice. But you can't guess. If you guess and I find out, you'll still lose points. Also, each answer will be in a range and will have A through H as options, just so you have as many options as possible. The exams will be spaced out every 2 weeks so that you get enough time to study between each exam. And there will also be no partial credit, but you still need to show your work. Okay everybody, welcome to class. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the results from this last week's midterm exam. Nobody panic, it's only worth 5% of your grade. You have 6 more midterms to make it up. The high was a little bit lower than expected, 62%, average 42, and the low score was 0. Also, don't forget that midterm 2 starts tomorrow, and no late work is accepted.
All right, class, team, how are we today? Everyone good? Good, good. Okay, well, you guys look a little tired. Have some candy. Here, well, we'll just throw it out. Ow. All right. Now, let's see. Fins. Okay. Who remembers from our last class about fins? Let's see. All right. Okay. Fins, team, they look like this. And let's see, what kind of heat exchanger is this? Who haven't I called on in a while? Michelle, what do you think? So who remembers what T infinity represents?
Dr. Bundy. Dr. Bundy. Dr. Bundy. Dr. Bundy.
Michelle. Any questions?
Dr. Bundy.
I have an idea.
I know this one.
Michelle. How about you, Michelle? Let's see, Michelle. That's she. Michelle. Michelle, have you commented yet?
Dr. Bundy, right here.
Michelle.
Seriously?
I'm having such a hard time deciding when to do the L3 for these guys. Let me check my calendar. I don't know, guys. We just gotta do it during career week. Every other week is just slammed. I mean, look at it. Alright, guys. Today, I was just thinking about excellence. I mean, we need to be excellent in everything that we do. When I was in high school, I worked at a pizza shop, and I went in every day and I tried to be excellent in everything I did. I tried to make the sauce excellent, and the owner, I was the only one that he was willing to trust. I mean, even his own kids he wouldn't trust. Because look at this. I mean, look at this pizza. Isn't that excellent? This is an excellent piece of pizza. Speaking of excellence, I'll tell you what's not excellent. I mean, Campus Drive. Why are they tearing it up? I mean, you can't even drive through the campus anymore. If I were the head of BYU, I would fire everybody that is on that committee. I mean, it's a terrible idea. Speaking of excellence, Doritos Locos Tacos. Excellent. But I'll tell you what else is not excellent. Teriyaki steaks. I mean, why did they even have that in the Krugery? Everything else is pretty good. I mean, they got Subway, they've got Taco Bell, but teriyaki steaks, I mean, it doesn't do anything for me. Let's just go play some basketball, guys. Okay folks, welcome to process control. So this is just going to be a little advanced tutorial in donkey cart control. So we're going to build a force model, and I'm going to circle some things on this screen here for your use, and feel free to pause the video because we're going to move pretty quickly through this. So you build a force model, and you've got a weight force, and you've got a thrust force, you've got your process gain and your process time constant. And we're just going to move forward, and we're going to build a model in Simulink here. And first we're going to do manual control, and I'm going to write in some coefficients for these parameters here. And then I'm going to
build a process model here. We're going to get a scope here, it's going to be velocity, it's going to tell us what's going on. And here's the plot, so that's looking like some pretty good control so far. So, and we really want to control the donkey a little bit better than that, so we're just going to add on these other transfer functions here like this.
So I hope you've enjoyed your tutorial today. Thanks for listening and paying attention, and I hope that made sense. Feel free to stop by my office if I can answer any questions. Thanks.
Okay, with the online career fair, there are countless opportunities. You can go at your own leisure whenever you have time. You don't even have to stay in a line. If you really wanted to, you don't even have to wear pants.
Welcome to plant design, everybody. Sorry that it's at 8 a.m. Tried to make it at 6 a.m., but they didn't let me, so sorry about that. Just don't know what to do with myself in the morning since this class is so late.
Well, I do have a good relationship with the professors, especially my friend John Hedingren.
really going to miss Dr. Henneman when I leave, and my humorous quips during this class that often surprise him and catch him off guard and cause him to think outside the box a little bit. So I'm going to miss that experience.
Professors here seem to care more about students than any other university I've been to.
That they're funny and real and they're good people. And they're not, they can actually like talk to you.
At my last internship, I was talking about differences between universities with some of the other interns. And they were all talking, there were 3 or 4 students from major universities, major engineering universities across the country. And they all had one thing in common. They said, there's always that one professor who doesn't care about students and all he cares about is his research. And they all agreed, like, oh yeah, I hate that professor, he doesn't want to help us students. And I honestly could say to myself that none of the BYU chemical engineering professors fit that category.
Something that I think is cool is I remember a couple of years ago Dr. Fletcher gave a devotional speech or talk, and it was really cool to see more of a spiritual side of Dr. Fletcher and really be influenced by the talk that he gave.
I remember once Dr. Wheeler gave a spiritual thought at the beginning of Thermo, and he said some things. He actually shared some events of his life that were rather personal, but it lined up very similarly with what was going on in my life at the time. And I just remember feeling so grateful to have the opportunity to be at BYU, first of all. But second of all, to have professors that honestly try to keep themselves, to have the Spirit with them, and to say what they feel is the right thing to say. And because of that, I've benefited spiritually, and I've been able to learn the material better. And I honestly hope I can be like some of the professors that are here someday.
One of the things I like about the professors is that I like all of them. And I feel like when I'm walking through the hall, I can call all of them by name and they recognize who I am.
Wilding is the man, a wise man who gives good, morally uplifting quotes to set the tone at the beginning of the day at 8 o'clock. And to help those sleepy brains focus on something manageable, and then he hits you with the harder stuff. But he does it in such a way that you know he knows what he's talking about, because he can bring it down to our level.
Oh yeah, that's pretty awesome. He's like super helpful, just like just funny. Oh, like you like ask him a question and he'll like give you time to explain what you're talking about, and then he'll just be really straightforward with you.
When we took process control from Dr. Henningren, had some midterms and projects that resulted in late nights in the old lab. But to his credit, you know, he on more than one occasion he walked through the old lab door and stuck around with us into the night to work on, to answer our questions and to help us out. And that really meant a lot to me.
After one of the midterms, we had kind of done pretty poorly as a class, and I had done pretty poorly as well. And Dr. Lignell reacted in a way that totally surprised me. And you know, it wasn't the way that most of you are thinking, because I took fluids, you know, not with the class that's graduating now. And Dr. Lignell was so discouraged. You know, he really took it kind of personally as a measure of his own performance that we had done so poorly on one of his exams. And that totally surprised me and shocked me that he not only cared how we did, but that he was also interested in changing his own behavior to help our education. And
in all seriousness and in all gratitude, aside from my parents, my grandpa and my mission president, the professors at BYU have had the biggest impact on me as a person and who I hope to be in the future.